Hey guys, what's up? Funky Music here tonight, and just wanted to talk about this whole Whitemane thing. Kind of maybe put a button on this. Um, I'm sure the button will come later, but I did want to talk about this. So my last video, just talking about Fish Bros, Whitemane stuff, and I've seen his new video, which, by the way, I just want to go over some of these comments in here. Have you heard of Project Ascension? Which is, yes, Ascension. If you want custom content, Ascension WoW is probably the way to go. By the way, for those of you who haven't played it, it's kind of actually neat. I will give Ascension credit for that. I'm new to the game, we get better. I still don't know how to clap. Blah 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 blah. Whitemane is past the period of only playing with max characters. Yeah. So what is that? Whitemane is probably the worst private server group on the scene. It's obscenely bad how scripted and buggy the servers are, and the people that admin are straight up awful people. I don't know about that, but it is very buggy. Whitemane Cataclysm. If you're a serious player, play official. No, they don't. There's Wrath's dead. Why would anybody play official now? I've been on Warmane since 2018, and it really sucks now. My guy, I don't know why all of a sudden from 18 to 24 there's not a whole lot of difference. Warmane players scam me out of berserking mats. Literally never heard a player do that shit in 15 years of playing. Well, welcome to private servers, my guy. It's gonna happen no matter what private server you play. Where's the guy who's talking about It was up just here. Anyways, so a lot of people went to Whitemane to go play on Whitemane because Cataclysm was coming out. So they went to Whitemane to go test it out. And since there's not a whole lot of Cata servers, so let's go ahead and just pull up. Actually, I'll pull it up over here. There's not a lot of Cata servers because Cata's never been really that popular. Now, if you go back to the Warmane days when they had their Cataclysm servers, their Cata servers were populated because Cata was current content at the time. And their scripting on it was horrible. That's why one of the reasons why they shut down. So the Cataclysm private servers, Whitemane probably has. I mean, this is DKP minus. I wouldn't trust these guys to throw a pencil across the room, and not manage to hurt themselves. But as far as getting the populations on things right, they're somewhat accurate. Who knows for sure? But the same guys who run DKP minus also run Warcraft Tavern and all that stuff. So, and since Warcraft Tavern is horrible for guides and everything related on there is horrible, you really have to what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of take it with a grain of salt with what these guys say. So, but that also being said, this is probably the only website that I know of that actually will produce numbers or like post like it goes from highest to lowest as far as, or if somebody's posted an ad like this one. This is an ad. So Whitemane has probably the higher population for Cataclysm, but Cataclysm in itself is never been popular for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the scripting difference, the fact that it was a terrible expansion, or what. Oops, I did not mean to click on add-ons. Yeah, so they had the biggest Cataclysm server. That's why people started playing there. However, their scripting is pretty bad. So their leashing on Wrath is bad. The fact that everyone starts with all flight paths already learned is pretty bad. Gives Draenei a huge advantage. Well, not a huge advantage, but enough of an advantage to make that irrelevant. There's a bunch of stuff. There's on-use items that clearly aren't working. There's stuff that was broken on Whitemane that was fixed on Warmane like in, I don't know, like 10 years ago. Like, it's really, really bad, the scripting on Whitemane. And, you know, I've played on a lot of other private servers as well. Yeah, so this whole, well, Funky, you don't know what you're talking about. You guys don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you right now, and I'll show you a little bit here, the comment section in this back and forth conversation I've had with somebody on my channel, which is, you know, I'm all for discussion. I'm always open for rational, reasonable discussion. I'll never shy away from that. Um, but let's go ahead and just look at Wrath. So you got Ice Crown, Lordaeron, WoW Circle, which I believe WoW Circle is nothing but Russian, if I'm not correct. If I'm fully correct, there's Ascension, which we just talked about earlier. WoW Circle, this is X100, X5, but WoW Circle doesn't have... I have an account on WoW Circle. I also have an account on Ascension. They're just not... WoW Circle is not scripted very well. Ascension, obviously that's custom content, which is pretty cool. So they got some, custom. Blizz-like on WoW Circle is not Blizz-like at all. Let's see, BlackRock, that's custom. Dalaran WoW used to be... Dalaran's dying out. Dalaran was supposed to be the Whitemane killer years ago. Chromicraft, I have an account there. I actually have an account on Dalaran WoW as well. So both of these... So like the top, pretty much all of them minus Unlimited WoW. I've never played that. But the rest of them I have played on. And I've played on a lot more than just... There's Never Endless, which... If you guys know the history of Wrath servers, Never Endless actually became Molten WoW, which actually became Whitemane. So, yeah. Tori. The rest of these I've never heard. Blue Ring and even Whitemane's population. Yeah, it's not Blizz-like because there's so many issues with people trying to play on these custom servers. There's rarely do you ever see... Ascension is the first custom server that I've actually seen kind of take off. But these custom servers, we've seen Sunwell, we've seen, oh god, Dragonflight or Dragonblight, whatever. These are some of the more recent ones. We've all seen them come and go, die out. We've seen these new servers launch, die out instantly. We've seen what was the one we had? Frostmourne on Whitemane. After season 1, season 2 had like 4 or 5,000 less players according to their website numbers. Less than the third season, he even had less than that. It just kept going downhill because people really don't like... People will sit there and scream, we want progression, we want a fresh realm, fresh realm, fresh realm. The problem is, that's people who are coming in late to the WoW scene, honestly. Or those are people who want a chance to go and chase realm first titles. Well, as you guys know, I was here on Whitemane when years and years and years ago, during the reset, which was a decade ago, during the reset, we were able to gather up all the realm firsts between both my characters on both servers. They had what used to be Ragnaros. They had Ragnaros and they had Deathwing, and I was able to collect realm firsts on both of those. Now, looking back, was that the best guild ever that I was in? Aurora? No. They were not the most highly skilled players. I don't think Whitemane's skill was as high as it is today. When it comes to certain things, other things they really lack in. But the overall skill of the player base that was there, plus the server wasn't as populated as it is now. So, we did the best with what we had with what we could. So, there was that. But other than that, it's a very small group of people who want to do that stuff. And some of them, like you look at Anfall, you look at Murfin, who I've raided with Murfin. Murfin was in my guild for years. They enjoy the chase for the realm first. They enjoy that stuff, and they'll server hop. They'll go from one fresh server to another, and that's all they do, which is fine. But it kills anyone else who wants to chase after that, because what's the point in always getting beat by the same group of guys every time there's a fresh server? It just discourages you from doing it. And you're never going to be as good as them, etc., etc. So if you want a kind of sorta, I would actually say DKP minus is actually probably pretty close to accurate on here for average population when it comes to these servers. I'd say the newer ones, like so Whitemane probably has a little bit more than a 0 to 100 that they had pulled up. Whatever it was, wherever they were, they had them 0 to 100. I'd probably say it's a little bit higher than that. They're pretty well accurate. Like I said, take what you hear from these guys with a grain of salt, because But I tend to believe, from what I've seen and what I know, and playing on these servers myself and seeing the population, it's pretty accurate compared to, where the estimates are, I would say. And like I said, again, I've played all of these servers. You guys have seen me stream Chromicraft a million times. I played Dalaran when it came out. Of course, I play on Whitemane. I do have an account on WoW Circle. I haven't played that in a while, but and I have tried Ascension. A couple of the guys from Ohana, Udba, we kind of went there and played a little bit. But yeah. So the rest of these Classic Plus, World of God, the God 225. I have no idea. Never heard of any of these. But yeah, I'd say the population is probably pretty accurate, if I'm being honest. So, anywho, Inferno, wow, never heard of East Asia. Like, some of these are Oceanic, East Asia. Like, a lot of these private servers have pretty much took a hit when Classic hit, obviously. Some of them, not all of them. I noticed Chromicraft took a hit. Whitemane, not so much, really, in all honesty, and that comes with a lot of different reasons why people play Whitemane. So, had this discussion with this guy, and I'm not going to go through every single thing. And the responses have kept going, and they're 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 still going because I just replied just now. But I think there's some good points in here that we kind of need to discuss. You're completely wrong in saying that all private servers fake their numbers online. Actually, most of them don't do that nowadays, and you can very easily verify it by using Census add-on. Okay, the add-on that he's talking about, there's ways for private servers to... He obviously doesn't understand the inner workings of the add-on. There's ways for private servers, which he does mention this, though. I do want to say that. He does mention that, Whitemane has this add-on blocked. Yes, there are ways for these private servers to block them, and there's also ways for private servers to fake their counts, even using the Census add-on. And that's the part he doesn't understand, is how that add-on works. It's not as... that add-on used to be a lot more accurate. I don't know what the private servers have done recently, but that is not as accurate as it once was. And I think some of it has to do with the new Trinity Core, because everyone uses the Trinity Core nowadays. And the way they've updated Trinity Core and how it's open source and people are stealing from it left and right, I'm sure that information has been shared with other private servers. It's common. It's a common thing, and I wonder why this add-on doesn't work on Whitemane. Coincidence? Whitemane. Why would they care? Again, I posted the picture in this video of Whitemane's head, the leader of Whitemane, saying that they faked their numbers. He admitted to it. And the way they calculate these numbers, and I go on to explain this in the comment section, from what I was told, and having known the staff and had this discussion was actually posted on the forums. I think it's since been deleted, from what I know, that they go over an hour time span over accounts logged. So even if you were logged out, it takes an hour for you to actually get offline. So it's very easy for those numbers to be fudged and not be accurate, which is why if the server goes down or it crashes, if you reload the website, if the website was accurate, let's say the server goes out for a couple hours, and we've seen this happen many, many times on Whitemane. The server will go down, it'll be down for hours, and it'll still show population online. It'll slowly start to go down. But it takes forever to go all the way to zero. Well, why is that? And before it ever reaches zero, usually they'll come up there and put offline, because of the way they calculate their numbers, okay? Whitemane broke their WHO list on purpose. Where's the proof in that? I'm pretty sure they banned that add-on through Warden, which is their anti-cheat, whatever they use. I think they found a way to block this add-on, because the Census add-on is pretty daggone old. I remember you can look it up. Let's see if we could type in Molten WoW Census add-on. There might be some old... I know you'd have to look for them and search for them, but there are some old Census add-ons in here. From people doing this stuff. Maybe it's under population. Yeah, I mean, here's one from 11 years ago. This is when it was Molten WoW. I mean, this add-on has been around for forever. Um, and that's not the only video. Real Population Part 2. Oh, there's 3 parts to this. Wow. So this is Molten's old Cataclysm server. This is back when their Cataclysm servers were actually taken off. Molten WoW doubles players online. This is from 11 years ago. All this stuff was before they went to... no, Molten WoW is forging its stats. This is from 9 years ago. Bandit Can. Holy shit. Hang on, let's watch this real quick. I'll turn the volume off. So this is still when it's Molten WoW. This is before the update to Whitemane. This is before the servers went down. As you can see, here's the servers, Deathwing, Ragnaros. They had just introduced Blackrock, so this is before the core updates. This is before they went to Trinity Core. So I'm not sure if... I'm pretty sure it does not... It's the update and what they've done with adding Warden in to protect things. In my opinion. I don't know for sure either. I'm not going to speculate, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm right and he's wrong, but if I had to take a wild guess, I'd say that's why it's it. These days, Whitemane is pretty much the only private server when it comes to known ones that fake their numbers online. Again, where's your proof for that? I can go pull up Whitemane right now. Boasting a thriving community of over 150,000 players globally. That doesn't mean anything. Are they using accounts to track that? It says there's 285,000 players. Over 38,000 unique players over the last 7 days. Is this including accounts that are being dual boxed? Is this including just accounts and people who never log in? Like, how are people measuring this stuff? These numbers are insane. You're telling me there's almost a 250,000 people playing on Whitemane? Stop it. Just stop it. We know better than that. You can log in there. And if they have 250,000 players, they'd have way more servers. Their servers would be packed to the brim, because Whitemane doesn't even come close to those numbers. That's insane. That is insane that they sit there and say that right there. And then you got people like Fishbro say that they do more. No, they don't. And this isn't the first server to come out and make these wild claims. All these private servers come out and made these wild claims. So when he sits there and says that they're the only ones that fake their numbers online, bullshit. Right here's Whitemane. I can prove it to you. I mean, I could probably pull up Chromicraft as well. Chromicraft, though, I don't think they actually fudge their numbers. I think they might not. I haven't been on their website in a long time. Let's see here. Let's see. Do they even have anything on there? How many people are playing there? No, I don't think they do. But you can go to you can go to their Discords. Like, okay, so go to Whitemane's Discord. I'm sure they have it up here, don't they? No, they have a Reddit. They have a TikTok, really? And a Facebook. Anyways, so, Whitemane has the unofficial website. Go there, or the unofficial Discord. Go there. Go to the Whitemane unofficial Discord. See how populated it is. See how many people talk. Then go to Chromicraft's Discord. It's like dead. It's dead. Go to Whitemane's. It's not that active. Why do you think how many more things do you need to see? Like, yeah, you may not have an accurate number, but there's other ways to tell what a dead server is and what a server that's not dead typically does. You compare everything that you're saying about these other servers to Whitemane, and then come back and tell me. Tell me when you go into a major capital city, what it looks like during peak hours, not late at night. There was a known, at this point very old, well, Sunwell's not that old, but there was a known and very, to this point very old video going around by old Sunwell Adams and If, which he proves just how scummy Molten Whitemane is. So I guess we could go check this out. But I doubt there's ever going to be any real proof of it. And because this video, they broke their who list and talking about, who cares if Whitemane, talking about it as online, talking about online is taboo on Whitemane forums. No, it's not. It's clearly not taboo. Whitemane's freaking owner came out and said that they faked their numbers. What do you mean it's taboo? When the owner came out and admitted that they faked their numbers, and look how many threads, you could get on the Whitemane forums and see how many threads are about numbers. Like, nobody cares about this stuff anymore either. Like, this argument would have been great like 10 years ago, back when that actually mattered, because there was an actual competition to who was the better private server at the time. This is before Whitemane switched over to Trinity Core scripting, blah blah blah. Because there were other servers that were rivaling, well, back then, Molten WoW in numbers and in players. And if you actually logged in, you could actually see that they were actually rivaling them. So nobody knew at the time that Molten was going to come out on top. Like, it was a level playing field back in the day. Okay? So there's no reason to fake it now. There's no reason to not come out and say that, yeah, we fake our numbers. There's no reason to keep it under wraps because they have the largest population, without question. Every post mentioning online numbers gets removed. No, it doesn't, and you can get easily banned for bringing it up. No, you don't, because I've brought it up many times myself and never been banned. I'm banned now, but that's for other reasons. On the forums. This is the only private server that does that. No, they're not. I just clearly showed you Whitemane faking their garbage numbers. When Wrath of the Lich King Classic released, their fake numbers didn't even move at all while other servers were hurt by it. Now, this is true. But I think the reason for that is a lot of these other servers were being played progressively to figure them out. And to figure out, the best strategies for Wrath. However, if you wanted the best strategies for Wrath, you should have came to Icecrown. Icecrown has the best scripting. When it comes to the way things were in the end of 2010, Icecrown has the best scripts. And I will argue that until I'm blue in the face, until somebody else can prove me wrong. There is one other person that I know that has a better running server. Okay? One. And he's been approached to help lead that, to launch that server. Because he's actually got everything working correctly, minus a few dungeons, I think. The way it was. And you can ask all the guys that we used to raid with, that I used to raid with. You can ask Teamy. You can ask a lot of these guys that we used to play with. That was our basic test realm for a while. Because Fluffy had everything working on his server 100% correctly. Raid-wise. Everything. And it really opened my eyes up to when he would show me stuff that, like, well, how the hell is Whitemane breaking a PvP... fixing a DK PvP glyph, yet breaking Lich King. He's like, I don't understand how they freaking do that. And that's a whole other topic we could sit here and discuss for days. But when it comes to this, Whitemane's new realm, I'm not sure how you could say so fast it's buggy when the server is out for a week and T7's not even out. Well, because people have been playing it. And like I said, there's a ton of problems with it already. So I don't know what he's talking about here. Clearly, he's not very in tune with what's going on. There were some bugs that weren't on Angrathar or Frosthold, and they all run on Sunwell Core, which is... It's not Sunwell Core, stop it. It's just what Sunwell... Everyone uses fucking Trinity Core nowadays. And it's just how they develop their Trinity Core from there on out. And since Trinity Core is now open source, if you want to add to it, you can. But some people don't know what they're doing, and they start adding to it, or they'll come up with this and this and this and that, and it doesn't work because it breaks, because they don't test things properly. So saying Sunwell Core is bullshit. It's just Trinity Core, and it's Trinity Core, and it's what they developed, and it doesn't. And Sunwell has its own buggy ass issues too. Sunwell was buggy. It was probably better, but still very buggy. It was better than Whitemane, but very buggy. We can only judge it when T7 or T8 is out. Why? Before then, it's unfair to judge anything. Why? You don't need to have T7 or T8 out. Why would you need to have Tier 7 or Tier 8 out in order to test just general bugs? I don't think you people understand how things break in this game. Like, I don't need to be in Tier 7 or Tier 8 to test glyphs, to test scaling on spell power for whatever spell or attack power scaling. I don't need to be in any of that stuff. None of that crap matters. I don't need that to test leashing on pets or leashing of mobs, to check line of sight on mobs and see how well they're performing. If they're performing like crap, they're probably going to be performing like crap in when you get into the raid. So I don't know what he's talking about here. On-use trinkets that don't work. Look, if you've got problems with on-use trinkets that aren't even working, you're probably going to have the same issues when you get into Tier 7 and Tier 8. Why do I need to... Why is that unfair? I don't understand where I never did address that with him. I don't get that at all. It's a common misconception that Whitemane has all-around best scripts. No, it's not a common misconception. That is the truth. If you know anything about scripting, if you know this game like I do, if you understand how it is supposed to work from what it was in retail, and there's very few of us left, okay, and finding that information now is not like it was before Classic Wrath launched. It's much, much harder to compare it now because there's so much Classic Wrath bullshit out there that it's so hard to dig down into what was actually happening back in 2010, okay? But for those of us who know, for those of us who have done or helped with scripting and figured things out, blah, 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 we understand how this works, we know and can spot it like that, okay? And on the off chance you can go and find some of that information, I dare you to go test it on how it was supposed to be versus another server versus this server, and go tell me what's the best. Because Whitemane has the best scripts. I'm sorry, Icecrown has the best scripting if you want it as close as possible to 3.3.5a. There's no arguing that. There's no getting around that. I'm sorry, there's not. This is repeated all the time for some reason, because it's true, dude. Back when, oh god, this guy was a Sunwell player for sure, because that's all he's talking about. Dude, Sunwell had so many friggin' bugs it was retarded too. Like, I remember the Sunwell bugs. They were horrible. Quit, like, sucking Sunwell's dick, dude. They weren't worse than Whitemane in terms of scripting in any way except some class mechanics? No, dude, they were worse. Go talk to Anfall. Go talk to, I think even, Anfall played there. I think Murphin was playing there too. Yeah, Murphin was playing there too and was telling me all the friggin' bugs that they ran into over there on Sunwell. Just stop it. Sunwell was not as good. And Fluffy knows, I think Fluffy knows one of the scripters on Sunwell. And if I remember correctly, Fluffy telling me, I have to ask Fluffy, but he torched that dude for not knowing his shit. I remember when I played Whitemane, I think Fluffy was actually on their team for a bit. I can't remember. I remember when I played Whitemane first year Lord Run, it was an absolute mess of a server playing with things broken. Yeah, I remember that. Here's what, yes, but you're bringing up Lordaeron, dude. Lordaeron was, okay, so for those of you who don't know, Lordaeron was built to be a custom server. And at the time, instead of just copying, pasting what they had from, I don't understand, and me and Fluffy still don't understand this. He's like, dude, they had to change two codes to copy basically what Whitemane, or from Icecrown, excuse me, to make it into Lordaeron. He's like, all they had to do was change the rates from 7 to 1. He's like, that's one keystroke. He's like, that's all you got to do, one keystroke to fix it. And where they got in trouble, though, was when they were buffing HP of bosses, and they tried to redo the damage on bosses, and it was scaling way too high. Thus why the Memories, who was the first guild to go in there, decided that, no, it was too hard, and they even ended up quitting because it was way too hard. So they eventually brought in line, they eventually copied what I just said that they should have done. They eventually copied everything from Frostmourne and just transported it over to Lordaeron. And once they did that, only thing they had to do was mess with the HP on bosses, and they messed with the boss timers. They slightly tweaked the HP and slightly tweaked enrage timers. Other than that, everything's the same, besides the 1x rates and no shop. So when they did that, which was 2017 or 18, I can't remember, when they brought Lordaeron in line, it's been the exact same. So I'll go over that later. You can't compare new Wrath private servers releases to something like Whitemane's Icecrown and say, shit, look, Icecrown up for years while other servers died off, so that proves Icecrown was a good server and other servers were bad. Those servers were progressive in nature, so after 2 or 3 years, the death was inevitable. Dude, what are you talking about, man? So what, Icecrown wasn't a progressive server? Well, Icecrown is some weird clown fiesta farming same ICC and raid for years full best select characters. What isn't interesting nor challenging to any sane human being? Well, that's you. Clearly you're in the minority. This guy doesn't like that he's in the minority. I can already tell you that. He's upset that he's in the minority. We just had this conversation in our last exchange. Just because the progressive realm eventually dies off and eventually a new server appears doesn't mean it was absolute garbage. If it was up for 2 to 3 years. Yes, it does. It means it was garbage. You have no staying power. You're garbage. Warmane has come up with the model, and I'm sorry, nobody launches these private servers to not make money. If you think that these guys are actually launching private servers for the hell of it, and we just want the experience, and we know it's going to die in 2 to 3 years, yay, let's do it. You're being hoodwinked. You're being hoodwinked. What, right now on Whitemane, you got to pay in order to have transmog, do you not? Don't you have to pay on Whitemane to have transmogs? Don't tell me that it's not about money. It's always about money. It's always going to be about money. Look at the world today. Everything is about money. I don't want to hear your bullshit lies. Nobody's ever going to release a server just for fun. It's for money. And there's a reason why they do it. You never convince me otherwise. Ever. Adding some custom stuff isn't something entirely new, and more servers start to do it because it's done smart. It's actually a good addition. He's right about this. Ascension WoW, prime example. I don't see an issue by giving in subpar specs legendary weapons to deal a bit more DPS. That's whatever. That's neither here nor there. How about just fix the fucking abilities that they have and buff them more? Ascension WoW is a completely different game and not really WoW anymore, so you can't compare adding some minute custom stuff to something that's a different game. Anywho, guys, Warmane's the best. And trust me, for somebody, this is coming from me of all people, me. If you guys know anything about the history of this YouTube channel, of my Twitch stream, you know that I could not stand Warmane. I was their biggest detractor. But when you idiots start talking in just out of your fucking asses with not a clue and nothing to back up what you're saying and just spouting off at the mouth because you played the last couple of years and you think you know the whole private server scene. Motherfucker, I've been here since day fucking one. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. You weren't here. You didn't see all the stuff that I saw. You don't understand. If you go back and look at all the voting sites and shit. Look at all the goofball bullshit that was going on in 2011, 2012 of the private server scene. Like, you guys don't have a clue what you're talking about. And it shows. And this is the part about, with the older I get, the more wisdom, and, you should listen to your elders. And, when you're younger, you're like, yeah, whatever, fuck off. I know what I'm talking about. This old motherfucker ain't got a clue. Nah, actually, the old motherfuckers usually got a clue. Because I've seen more shit than you have. There's shit that you don't know about that they know about. So you need to fucking get a hold of that real quick. But anyways, yeah, coming from me, if you'd have told me 6 years ago that I'd be defending Warmane, I would have told you you're out of your fucking minds. Because I want the best private server I could possibly get with the best scripting, etc., etc. Warmane still does not have the best scripting, or have perfect scripting, rather. Do they have the best scripting out of all the private servers when it comes to the original game, the way it was? Absolutely nobody else compares. Nobody else. I'm sorry, nobody else compares. And most of you people wouldn't even know what to look for to even test stuff. You wouldn't even know what was wrong. If something was wrong, you wouldn't even realize it. Because now, like I said, with all of the classic stuff being out there, the information on how things worked, we've lost World of Logs, so we've lost the old World of Logs, so we have no way to compare old logs anymore. We have no way to compare those logs and use the expression editor and everything else. We have no way to do that anymore. So scripting, we reached the pinnacle of what scripting is going to be. Now, when somebody releases a classic version of the private server, when somebody releases a private server that's the classic version of Wrath, then that's going to open up a whole new door, a whole new bag of cats to things, and that'll be a whole other discussion. And I could see that actually probably killing off the old 3.3.5a the way it was. But that's a whole other topic for another day. Anyways. Yeah, you people have no idea what you're talking about. It's you really need to do your research. Really look. I mean, cripe. Looking at a few of these things, looking at Whitemane, Chromie. I got Chromiecraft pulled up. Yeah. What the hell? Oh, they don't do it for money. What's front? What's center? Right in the middle of Chromiecraft. Oh, donations. Cripe. Yeah. Support. Oh, it's right there in the middle of the screen. Donation purchase support. Oh. Yeah, we don't do it for money. We do it for the fun. Well, you got to support the server. They got to keep it online. Yeah. Because it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to do that, doesn't it? Anywho, I just want to talk about this madness of this whole Whitemane thing. Look, Whitemane Wrath is going to die. I'm sorry. I've seen it. I've seen the issues that are going on. I've heard about them. People have posted me videos, links, and just laughing out loud, and it's going to be a shit show of a mess. Which is fine by me. Fish Bro, you could take all your buddies. Take fucking take Raya Fury with you over there. Take fucking what's his dick face? Oh hell, I can't remember his Albie, take him with you. Take all the fucking idiots with you. Go there. Go play. You guys could live happily ever after and claim that server's so great. Have your 3 friends and go play it. I don't care. It'd make the world a better place. On Warmane, at least. But it is what it is. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk about that and debunk some of the bullshit that's going on here. So